We'll do it live.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Hey, what's up? This is JM, host of the Celebrity Grill podcast on iTunes, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. It is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling, originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, via phone call, via email, there are two specific ways that you need to do that. So let me hook you up with that.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Sending an email, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Or on the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
And everything else can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter coming up in about 12 minutes from now. You know, if you are, I would say, a super fan of this show or somebody that has been around the show for 6 years or more, this guy was on fairly regularly midlife of the show. I mean, wait a second. What date are we on? The 5th, right? Okay. Totally unsolicited here. Where is it? Looking on my soundboard, I don't see it at all. Where is it? All right. We'll do it this way. Oh, no. I don't have the breaking news sounder. Oh, now that is a shame. I didn't fix that? I didn't fix it. Last week, there was a huge changeover of taking stuff out of the C drive and going to the G drive because the C drive was jammed full of crap, except all of my sounders were on the C drive. So where they sit in the SAM broadcaster, once you move them, they'll still show up in SAM, but they won't play because, well, they're not in that file path location anymore. So I had to methodically and meticulously go through each individual file and find out which ones I didn't move over properly and reinsert them. And obviously the breaking news one didn't get put over right. I'm sorry about that. If I'm not mistaken, We are now in officially, as of yesterday, the 11th year of the live show. No kidding. The 11th year of the live show. It was BBS Talk Radio, started out 2008, February 4th, if I am saying that correctly. That started on a Monday. This first show was actually on a Thursday for a couple weeks. Then I got backed up to a Tuesday for some scheduling stuff. And it was all done on this station called BBS, like Bravo Sierra, BBS Talk Radio, which now is known as LA Talk Radio and still continues to flourish, except I outgrew the 50-minute time slot. I needed more time. So I started my own, not station per se, but I got my own online streaming and eventually morphed out. So we simulcasted through LA Talk Radio for a number of years, and then the guy that was running the station said, "Hey, I can sell the spot. Do you mind?" I said, "No." That's Sam Hassan. I got to work to get him on the show next week so we can take a look back at 11 years. I mean, he continues, as I had said, to flourish on LA Talk Radio side. This show continues to gain popularity, notoriety, and fans of all different age, shapes, and sizes. So happy birthday to the Barbecue Central show in its 11th year of live streaming. I totally forgot about that. Anyway, if you are a fan of the show, this guy has been around, especially in the midlife of this show. You might know him as the guy that runs howtobarbecueright.com. You might be one of the many hundreds of thousands of subscribers on his YouTube page. I think at last count on Instagram, is it 75,000 followers on Instagram? So one of the bigger live fire accounts, to be certain. And newly minted, first Tuesday of the month guest, Malcom Reed from Killer Hogs and How to Barbecue Right. Wow, am I excited to usher in a monthly visit from Malcom. This guy is extraordinary on a number of fronts. Obviously, he's doing it for the backyard folks on the video side, but he is an extremely accomplished barbecue competitor. So we'll be able to talk all sorts of different things. We'll be able to get tips and tricks on competition because he is continuing to do that. We can talk about social media and how to grow your accounts and where to promote and how to spend money and how to make money because he's doing that with his YouTube and other things. We can also just talk about regular backyard recipes. I mean, Malcom can cover it all, so I'm very excited that he's going to be back on once a month now. First Tuesday of the month. Then we will back that up with normal or continuing on to be a first Tuesday of the month guest, dropping back to the 9:35, and gracious that he did that. None other than Barbecue Hall of Famer himself, Ray Lampe, for the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. I mean, is that one of the most prolific first hours that you are ever going to see on any podcast, let alone, I mean, is anybody else doing a live barbecue show like me? All you other ponies are running around the fields doing your podcasts, but you're not doing it live.
We'll do it live.
We do it live.
Do it live.
We are recording.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
But we also record, but we do it live first, and then we are also recording. So that is a tremendous first hour. Obviously, with Ray, we got to get a restaurant update, but we have a number of Facebook questions that we're going to be running through. He's going to be judging the KCBS World Championship, whatever thing they have going on in Little Rock, Arkansas this coming weekend, so lots to get to with Ray. I could end the show there, and it would be a great show. Undoubtedly. Unmatched in recent memory. But for shits and giggles, we'll go ahead and push to the second hour. 14 past. On this show, we have had a long-running discussion here over the last, it's got to be almost year, on the popularity or rise of popularity in dry aging. So much so, people are bringing into their own homes. They're buying separate units to dry age beef. They're buying the subprimal cuts. They're having discussions with their butchers about, will you dry age beef for me in your particular coolers, because they have the technology and the equipment to do it properly and safely. But this guy is about ready to take a counter position, saying there is absolutely no need to put stank on meat, and putting stank on meat and tenderness through this process is a myth. Now, he's not just some hullabaloo running around, hubbadoo, wubbadoo, wubbadoo. No. He's an expert in the beef industry. And hailing here from Cleveland, have you ever heard of a small little beef purveyor called Mr. Brisket? Hank Kornbluth will be joining me, first timer to the show. Clevelander. We've never met in person. I mean, that's like the worst thing ever. I'm the worst liver of life. I'm around so much stuff. I experience zero. My palate is tame. Tune out. I mean, I'm a joke. So Hank will be coming in at 14 past, and then, if that's not enough, 35 past the second hour, it is the meat maven herself, Annella Kelso from Snake River Farms. We're going to be talking about the 2019 Brisket Challenge. We're going to be talking about what happened in 2018. Also, for those that stick around, how about a $260 brisket for free, gold rated, 20 pounds, $250? You have to stick around. You don't know how you can win that. We are locked and loaded, folks. I don't know what to say. All I know is Malcom Reed is going to be coming up next, and it's very exciting to go from there. Greetings to Phil Luswick doing it live.
We'll do it live.
Phil, thank you. He's doing it live. As I had mentioned, Malcom Reed coming up out of the break. Last week, I introduced some of you to a gentleman by the name of Matt Eads, a.k.a. Grill Seeker on Instagram and across many social media platforms. We talked about his background, his time in the military, proud Marine veteran, and his love of live fire. But we also got into the fact that he was in the process of writing a new cookbook, and that's going to be coming out April 9th. He enjoyed himself so much here on the show and saw the power that it can bring all who grace the screen into a truly unique target market. He said, Greg, I gotta have a partnership with you as we lead up to this book being released. Quite honestly, I couldn't be more excited to have him come on here for the next handful of months. It's Matt Eads and Grill Seeker. The book title, if you recall, Grill Seeker, Basic Training for Everyday Grilling. Want a little synopsis? How about this? Elevate your grilling game with mouthwatering guide to backyard barbecuing. Though changing careers as a stay-at-home dad, Marine, entrepreneur, Matt Eads has journeyed from Grill Seeker to Grill Master. But don't be intimidated. This book shows how easy grilling can be, so it doesn't have to be reserved just for weekend duty. And no matter what type of grill you have, great results can be achieved. Fire up the grill and get ready to be the star of your neighborhood party. Also, don't forget to hit up grillseeker.com at the very top of the net, like really at the top, kind of small font. There's a little link that says United by Flame. If you want to be united by flame, if you want to join the cause, hit that link and then send Matt a picture of you through email, of you like grilling or barbecuing or something of you being an active live fire participant. So fun. Be part of the United by Flame army, because that's what we are. We are United by Flame. Again, the book title, Grill Seeker Basic Training for Everyday Grilling. If you go to my homepage and you click on the Grill Seeker button right there, that will take you right over to the link on Amazon. Or in the show notes after the fact, it will link you right up there. It'll say Grill Seeker book link or something along those lines. So grab it up. Very excited to be partnering with Matt Eads, Grill Seeker, on this venture for the next couple months. Again, the book coming out April 9th, so look for it. Pre-sale right now on Amazon.com. When we come back, Malcom Reed from How to BBQ Right and the pitmaster of Killer Hogs Barbecue Team. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Butcher Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. All of Butcher Barbecue products have been tested on the competition circuit as well as backyards worldwide. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood and visit butcherbbq.com to stock up right now. Always trust your butcher. All right, as I had mentioned in the open, the pitmaster of Killer Hogs Barbecue Team, the creator of How to BBQ Right. You can find him on a whole bunch of different social media channels, also on YouTube. We race to the hotline and welcome newly minted first Tuesday of the month guest, Malcom Reed. Malcom, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Greg. How's it going on your end?
Absolutely fabulous, Malcom. Appreciate you coming in tonight and doing this here on the first Tuesday. Can you activate your camera by chance?
Sure.
Let's do this. Let's see that handsome devil. Here he comes. Oh,
how about that, man?
Sexy as ever, just like I remember. Malcom, again, appreciate you coming in for the first Tuesday of the month segment here. So, I mean, obviously, and it is almost beyond approach or reproach as far as an impact that you are having in social media. For instance, I put a story on trying to promote the fact that you're going to be on. You share it on Instagram. I think I gained over 100 followers over the last handful of hours. I mean, the way you move the needle is kind of unparalleled in the industry right now, and it's certainly a tribute to your success and kind of the fervent belief that your fans and followers have, which is something that we'll get into here a little bit later. But for the folks that maybe aren't familiar with Malcom Reed or How to BBQ Right, so forth, just a little quick background on you, where you came from, where you live now, and then we can get into more of the live fire stuff.
Well, I'm from South Haven, Mississippi, which is right outside of Memphis, and currently I live down in Hernando, which is a couple of exits down, so it's still the same area. But I got into competition barbecue just growing up. We had our local contest, South Haven Spring Fest, has been around for years, and we grew up. Me and my brother grew up going as kids, and we just got into the competition barbecue, had a lot of fun, and we ended up starting to take it serious there for a while, and it's turned into quite the career and story for me, I guess.
Now, was that mostly Memphis Barbecue Network stuff down there, or was it FBA, or what was the sanctioning body?
Well, when we first got started, it was all Memphis and May sanctioned, and then they had a change over to the Memphis Barbecue Network several years back, and that's primarily what you see in this area. Now, KCBS is so, spread all over that we have a ton of KCBS competitions, and from where we're at, we can cook just about every weekend somewhere, whether it's KCBS, MBN, or SCA, or even go over to the Georgia to the GBA. So there's no shortage of contests to cook.
Certainly, you are a well-accomplished pitmaster, Malcom, but growing up and being where you're from, I mean, was live fire and barbecue just a way of life?
Well, where we are, it's a lot of our summer holidays or just get-togethers are centered around the grill, or throwing some meat on and getting a bunch of people together, whether it's friends, family, or what have you. But I grew up around barbecue. I don't think anybody in my family took it near as serious as me, but everybody had a good recipe, or they thought they could cook ribs better than the next guy. So that's kind of how it is.
Malcom Reed joining me here on the show. Let me give you some contact info for him in case you're interested in hunting him down. HowToBBQRight.com, his website, on social media. HowToBBQ Right on Instagram and Twitter. YouTube, How to BBQ Right. Facebook, How to BBQ Right. So we've at least kept everything the same. And I know once you reach like certain levels, you can go ahead and designate your own stuff. So keeping the name tight and similar, key on social media success, right?
Yeah, we used to do a lot of it was the Killer Hog stuff, and I've kind of changed to where that's kind of just the competition side of things. And I never had the idea, Rochelle or I, my wife, never had the idea that How to BBQ Right would grow into what it is. But we just kind of took that philosophy where we started, one day we just said, okay, we're going to call everything How to BBQ Right, and that's how people can find us. So, and we came up with that name just for lack of a better name at the time.
I mean, it's kind of the best name, though. So you have somebody that really knows what they're doing. They're an accomplished person in the backyard, but then you've also seen a tremendous amount of success on the competition trail. So you have a bunch of different vantage points to look from. So the name, while it might seem kind of, let's use it as a placeholder, I mean, it's pretty apropos.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the way I feel about it now. I mean, I've always said that the only way to not barbecue right is to not barbecue. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. And that's what I've always, been one of these guys that's kind of a student of barbecue. I don't think I definitely don't know everything there is to know, but I like sharing what I learn as I go. And I think that's what people relate to when they follow us on social media or they go to our website or blog or anything. It's just a place to where, people can learn as I'm learning.
Malcolm, when we talk about the social media stuff here, and especially, I guess, YouTube is really where you found quite a niche there. How many subscribers do you have on YouTube right now?
Wow, I think I did look earlier because I figured you would ask, and we're almost to 500,000. It's like 498 and some change. So we're gonna hit that 500,000 mark pretty soon.
So as you're competing and you realize that there is the internet and you have YouTube and a bunch of other different platforms, do you naturally gravitate to YouTube because there's a video aspect of it and it's like a Google-based company and the exposure is going to be there? Or how do you gravitate to YouTube and then start to build that whole ramp up?
Well, we found it really accidentally. Back when, we were a young barbecue team, we had a company approach us as a sponsor and they were giving us just some swag. And we weren't anybody at the time, but they sent us these little flip cameras and they wanted us to record some, what it's like at a barbecue contest and send it to them. Well, when we did that, we was like, sure, send us a camera. We'd love to. It was one of these little flip cams, and we recorded some footage, but then we realized you can't email it. It's way too big. And so their solution was, well, you can send the camera back to us, or, we can try to figure out something, because even Dropbox wasn't around then. So my wife, she was in the internet marketing field. She said, I think there's this platform called YouTube, and we could upload these videos and we could share it with them and they could just pull it down from there. And that's how it all started. At first, it was just some private stuff that we did for them. And we decided, we had started a newsletter just, about basic competition stuff. And
I remember that.
I did a few videos on, I think some of the first ones was like how to trim chicken, how to trim a brisket. I did like eight videos. We were raw, man. We didn't know how to edit. We didn't know anything. We were just capturing footage and we just stayed with it over the years. It wasn't that we had a real big following at first. It was just that we were consistent.
When do you realize that you are on to something? And also, when do you decide to start stepping up the production game? Because I would imagine at some point, people are anonymity in the internet is a great thing, right? You can be the toughest guy in the world. So you're watching Malcom Reed do some stuff. He's giving you great information, but maybe the wind blows or you can't hear him that well. So in the comments, oh, your sound sucks, or you need to buy this, or you need to step that game up. So when do you decide, or at what point do you decide to start adding some production value to the videos?
Well, we just learned as we went, and we were watching other videos, and I would go, and man, YouTube's one of those things where I go to it to learn stuff just in my everyday life.
Right.
If I need to learn how to change the headlight on my truck, I'm going to go to YouTube and see how to do it. And so that's what we started doing. We realized that we needed to get better. We needed a light setup, and then we started with some basic stuff, and then we needed editing software, and we just, I mean, it was kind of, I guess, trial and error and luck and determination, all the above.
Are you surprised that almost 500,000 followers later, that the building of an audience is still there, the keeping of the audience is still there, and that people are still in tune with, I guess, what is, certainly you do some competition-related videos, but a lot of the stuff is backyard. So you're really kind of capturing, or you're really in that wheelhouse of where, and we'll talk about competition here in a second, where maybe competition might be trickling down a little bit, but the backyard game is really growing.
Well, that was one thing that we kind of noticed early on. It was, there's only so many categories in competition I could do a video on.
Right.
So if I was going to continue doing that, and I was just doing newsletters at the time, just a weekly recipe, and then we decided to start filming them. That's kind of how it went. But it was for the lack of, there's not enough, there's only so many comp videos I could do. So I had to do something else, and people started liking them. And it's always been one of those things where it's positive, and people say they really appreciate the videos, and the recipes turn out great for them. And it's just a way for me to, to kind of give back, to share what I'm doing, and if it makes somebody else cook good, man, I'm proud of it.
Are you surprised that you are? This is a weird question. Are you surprised you have as many followers as you have right now?
I'm totally shocked, because I treat it as one of these things where, in my video style, I'm not trained on anything, and I'm not a chef or have any video experience. I just treat it like my buddies are sitting there in front of me, and we're just cooking. And so that's always been kind of how I am. So now, even when I see that 500,000 people are on there, it's still just like it's my buddies. So
what was
crazy? It really is crazy.
What's the hardest thing that you've had to learn to not do while you do these videos?
Oh man, I don't know about. You could say not screw up, but I always screw up. So
that's the best part, right?
Now, see, maybe that's why we got better with the editing and stuff, because at least it makes me not look so bad. But I don't know. I think it's better. It's better to be yourself and to talk to the camera just like I'm talking to you here, instead of trying to take on this fake persona or be something I'm not. That's the main thing that I would say. The hardest thing to learn, or the most important thing to learn, is just be yourself when you do it. You're going to find your voice. You're going to find what you want to do. Just be yourself.
So is How to BBQ Right a company, and is this whole thing sustaining you guys with a full-time income, or do you guys have like real jobs outside of this, and then this is also a nice secondary?
Well, right now it's mine and Rochelle's full-time.
Wow.
I hope it stays that way. We've had pretty good growth over the years, and we've been fortunate to where, I didn't have products to sell, when I first started, but then we kind of transitioned into making some barbecue rubs and sauces and things like that. And it's grown into a pretty good sized business for us. So I would love to see it continue to grow. That's our plan. I don't want to go back to work.
How many hours in a day are you putting in on everything related to the show and products and all that other stuff?
Oh man, 26.
So is that the blessing and the curse of having, YouTube job?
We work from home, and our offices are home, so we never leave. We're always together, and it's always work no matter what. So we have to. That's how I'm just coming off a long break. We take the winter off just to decompress, because if we didn't, we would go crazy. Because it's such a hectic schedule, and people think that, oh yeah, you're just barbecuing and filming in your backyard, but man, there's so much more to it than that.
Since you are with your wife all the time, as you had said, and I had asked Susie Bullock this question a couple weeks ago from Hey Grill Hey, because her and her husband Todd are pretty tight all the time. How do you guys keep it together and not, if you have to be together all the time to make this thing work, is there alone time at all, or do you just have some kind of a healthy system worked out to where you guys can just be together all the time and you don't get on each other's nerves?
Hey, I guess I'm lucky that she's fortunate enough to put up with me all the time. I'm sure she feels that she needs alone time, but I don't know, man. I guess stars aligned. I don't know, what the man upstairs was thinking when he put us together, but it worked.
Malcom Reed joining me here on the show. HowToBBQRight.com, his website, also on YouTube. How to BBQ Right. Malcom, let's transition over to a little bit of competition stuff, because I know you're into that. Where are you currently seeing competition right now? I've been under the maintenance that it's starting to trend down a little bit. Obviously, in some of the bigger sanctioning bodies, there's a lot more verbal hoopla than I've seen in years past. Some of the other sanctioning bodies are holding firm. Maybe some might be dropping off. But where do you see the state of competition barbecue in general right now?
Well, there's definitely always going to be some upset people or something, but I think that as a whole, it's pretty strong. People are doing a lot of competitions, but the thing is, we just have, as cooks, we have so many choices now. It's like I can go cook KCBS, I can cook SCA, or any of these other sanctioning bodies on any given weekend, and so it probably hurts it as a whole. It definitely hurts the bigger ones that are, losing some money on it. But the new guys that are coming up and replacing, they're booming. I mean, I know, just take the SDA, for example. They're growing all over the world, not just in the United States. Yep. And they've come on strong. So really, I think, competition barbecue is in a really good state right now. There's just so many options that I guess it makes it hard if you're trying to turn a profit at it. I mean, the downside to it I see is that it got to a point where it's costing so much to do a KCBS contest, and the money factor alone, when someone come in and figured out that you can do it for less money, less cost to the cooks, that's why it's grown so much. So I think there's going to be some some shrinkage on their fact, but then it'll probably balance itself out, and it'll be as popular as ever.
Malcolm, we got Valentine's Day coming up next week. From a How to BBQ Right standpoint, do you have any Valentine's Day dinner recipes for the lovers out there?
Well, one of Shell's favorites that I do for her is the filet that I top with some crab meat, and then I make like a little béarnaise sauce to go over it. Usually do some asparagus to go with it.
Little Oscar style, yeah.
Yeah, got like filet Oscar, and then I usually open a couple bottles of wine, turn the lights down, maybe light a candle, kind of try to be a little romantic as a barbecue man can be. And I mean, you can't go wrong when you're doing steaks. So that's always my go-to.
What's your general rule of thumb on how to cook a steak?
Man, I'm one of these guys that likes a medium rare. I like a hot grill to do it. A 16-ounce steak, if I'm doing like a ribeye or a 12 ounce if I'm doing a strip. If I'm doing a filet, it's usually about 10 ounces. All of those cook about 2 minutes on each side, then turn them, get 2 minutes on them, and then I usually try to raise them up off the heat or move them to the side and watch that internal temperature just to nail it where I'm going to finish it. And that's the secret to winning these SEA contests too. Get your grill marks on them, move them over to the offside, get them off the heat a little bit, and watch them slow. That way you don't overshoot. I do like to finish them with a little bit of compound butter, and that can be anything you like. I like, a little garlic, a little shallot, maybe a little parsley, a little cracked pepper, and some butter, and then just, kind of let that melt over the top. It gives it a nice little richness with some other flavors. It's really hard to mess up a steak if you do it that way, Greg.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely delicious to me. One last question before I let you go, and appreciate the time, Malcolm. I know you were out duck hunting a little while ago, so are we going to be seeing some duck hunting videos? That question coming in from Smokin' Joe's BBQ Pit.
Most definitely. That's what I spent my winter doing, was deer hunting and duck hunting. So I have plenty of duck, plenty of geese, and plenty of deer meat in the freezer. So I'm going to be working on some of those wild game recipes, and I'm definitely going to share them. So just keep an eye out for those.
Have you had farm-raised duck before? I've never had duck in my life, and I had these guys on from a company called Duck Char a handful of weeks ago, and they do a moulard duck, which is a cross between I don't know what the hell they were, cross between. But they kept telling me how much like beef it was going to be, and I finally pulled one out, did it over the weekend. Man, I overshot by 5 or 6 degrees, but it still looked more medium rare plus than medium-ish. It really did taste kind of beefy. Not gamey at all, but way more steaky.
I've had some of that duck before. I've also done some Peking, like whole roasted duck on the smoker. And you're right. It's not a fat. It's not like chicken at all. You're not going to get that flavor from it. It's more red meat. It's more kin red meat. It's best when you cook it to that medium rare side. If you go over with it, that's where people start talking about ducks. Tastes like organ meat. It kind of has a livery flavor to it. That's for any kind of waterfowl. But I did some of the goose I had the other day, and it was just Canada goose. And everybody's told me that you're not going to be able to eat this stuff. It's not any good. But I did it simple. I did it with the high heat beefer that I have. It's like one of these. It's kind of a home based salamander.
Yep.
And I just hit it with some salt and then cooked it just a few minutes on each side. And it's just like you said, it tasted like steak. And I had a couple people over that tried it. They couldn't believe it. I mean,
Malcom Reed joining me here. He is the new first Tuesday of the month guest. You can find him at howtobbqright.com, also on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media haunts at that same handle. Malcom, really appreciate the time tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Greg, and looking forward to next month. We'll see you.
All right, there he is, Malcom Reed. Pitmaster of Killer Hogs, How to BBQ Right, social media Maven. Love it. Look for him the first Tuesday of the month. The other first Tuesday of the month guest, or should we say the original first Tuesday of the month guest, Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe, coming up out of the break. Let me talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the #1 online shop for all things barbecue. You know they have those great championship rubs and seasonings, 13 of them specifically, Sweet Money, Regular Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, Little Louie's Seasoned Salt, Gold Desert. Love it. Double Secret Steak Rub. Come on now. These will transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. Also, if you're looking for a new competition recipe, they have that unique partnership with Simply Marvelous Barbecue. Putting those two together, that's called the West Coast offense. You know all about it by now. Big Papa's, they also own Granny's Barbecue Sauce. So if you're looking for a new go-to sauce that everyone will love, you might want to try Granny's. They also have other top-rated barbecue sauces available for sale at BigPapaSmokers.com. And aside from the premium selection of rubs and sauces, Big Papa Smokers offers a great variety of pellet, charcoal, and wood cookers. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, you want to check out that Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer. They even offer special packages. Nobody's doing that. Not a fan of pellet smokers? Fine. Take a look at the Old Hickory Ace BP. It's the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. And if you're a backyard hack like me, looking for a durable and versatile grill that will last forever, literally forever, the M Grill from Texas is just what you need. They're built like tanks. If you're not sure of what grill you might need, you really can't go wrong with anything listed on the website. They have something for everybody and every kind of budget. They also have layaway available. It's clear that Big Papa is the place to go for all things barbecue. Every product featured on their website, hand-selected to help you barbecue better. Have any questions? Call them. 877-828-0727. 877-828-0727, or shop the website, BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. All right, Ray Lampe coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your #1 source for quality wood pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. You visit cookinpellets.com for more information. You can purchase there as well. They also have some other really cool ancillary products. If you don't want to buy from cookinpellets.com, you can, of course, buy from Amazon.com if you are so inclined. Download their free app. Alert you to great shipping deals. It's cookinpellets.com. That's cookinpellets.com. Oh, dear. Cripes. I knew that was going to happen. See, that's another one. Well, okay, well, joining me is the original first Tuesday of the month guest, Ray Lampe. Doctor?
Hey, Greg. How are you?
You are sounding dynamic tonight, Ray.
Well, we had a little test run yesterday, as you know, and we fixed everything.
We sound really good right now, both you and I. I was just telling everybody at the top of the show how I was doing a whole bunch of file move-overs from one drive to the next, and my Dr. Barbecue thing didn't make it for some reason. So next month we'll have that lined up, and we'll be back to normal with your nurse, Greg Rempe. But many different things to talk about. Missed you in January, so here we are in February. Man, I can't believe we're already in February now, right? So, man, oh man, where do we start? How about the restaurant? I mean, we're a good 3+ months in now, right?
Yep. Three and a half-ish, I don't know, sometime in the middle of October. And yeah, 3.5 months, and things are still going strong. You anticipate a really good start with all the publicity we had, and then you worry about a little dip in there. And so far, knock on wood, no dip. And then we just got Friday. We just were named like one of the top 10 restaurants in Tampa Bay, which was unheard of for a new restaurant and a barbecue restaurant. So hopefully that's going to help us continue the spike. And so far, so good, man. We're having a blast.
What's the publication or the outlet that named you into the top 10?
Tampa Bay Times, which is the big paper for the area.
So will you?
A lot of people don't realize that the Tampa Bay market's the 11th biggest market in the country. I mean, it sort of gets not recognized because there's a couple cities here, and it's you don't think about it, but it's a big market.
How close is St. Pete to Tampa? Because I think maybe unfairly they get lumped right together.
Yeah, we do for sure. We get lumped with Clearwater as well.
Yeah, right.
But we're kind of out. We're the guys out on the peninsula. If you know how Tampa Bay looks, there's a bay there, and it's Tampa Bay, and Tampa is on the inland. Clearwater's up at the top, and we are the peninsula, which is really the nice. We got all the nice weather down here. We got the beaches. There's no beaches in Tampa. The beaches are all in Clearwater and St. Pete, and so we kind of, it's one of them places where there's always a constant little bitch fight between our side is better than yours, But I think St. Pete's the winner.
Well, yeah, it's like here in Cleveland, east side is the best side, or if you're on the west side is the best side. And the west side never crosses over 77, and the east side never crosses over 77. It's like the line of demarcation. So I understand exactly what you're talking about. Ray Lampe joining me here on the show. Ray, so does the restaurant do a lot of marketing, like going out and trying to get on TV stations and social media and all this stuff to keep the name out there? Or is it just organically out there now, and after 3.5 months, it's just growing on its own?
No, both, but no, we're not afraid to do that. Frankly, that's why I was a viable partner for them, because that's what I do. I can get some attention for stuff, and they're really good at it as well. But we also have on staff marketing people. We have a big PR company out of Miami now. We just switched, but we're not trying to do it all organically. We spend money and we do it very professionally. I mean, it's a different way to do it. To some people, I'm not against trying to do it organically, but boy, you get a big bang when you start spending some money.
Last time you were on, Ray, we had talked about, and the restaurant had really just been open for a handful of weeks at that point, and we talked about, were there items on the menu that you thought were really going to be bang-up hits that might have ended up being misses, and there had been some menu revisions? So let me ask you now, almost 4 months into it, have there been further revisions or adjustments to the menu now?
The only thing we've changed since this first wave is the potato salad. We just couldn't. We tried to make this sort of oil and vinegar potato salad with purple and white little fingerling potatoes, and it was pretty cool, but it wasn't. People didn't want that. For one, we screwed it up a bunch of times early on, but even so, that wasn't what people wanted. They wanted so we started thinking about, okay, we got to do something with this. So we asked Lee, our pit master, and he said, well, my aunt, what the heck was her name? Aunt Tilly or something has a potato salad recipe. I'll get that for us. So he gets it. And he said, well, I got my mom's version and my aunt's version, and they're very similar. He said, but it's country as hell. And we were like, yes, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. He once described it as a sort of a deviled egg in a potato salad. So now we're very mainstream with that, and people like it again. But that's the only thing, though. Everything else we've sort of left alone. And, we're seeing a few things that aren't doing as well as others, but it's really, so far, so good. I mean, we look like geniuses at the moment. Ask me again next month, but at the moment, we look real smart.
Lee Jasper is still invigorated and ready for the task of pitmaster?
Yeah, man, you got to have him on one of these days, because he is the...
Yeah, I would love to.
He's an obsessed young man with cooking barbecue. He just loves it. There's nothing makes Lee happier than loading the smoker, and he's obsessed with it. And he's getting to be pretty good at talking to folks about it too. So I'll line you up with him.
Ray Lampe joining me here on the show for the monthly Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. Ray, what's the best comment you've gotten on the restaurant so far? And then conversely, what's the most bizarre comment you've gotten so far?
Well, one of the things that really has struck me as that I didn't think was going to be so cool was when I spent a lot of time touching tables, walking up and asking folks how it's going. And often it'll be like, well, it's my birthday, and I told all my family this is where I wanted to come for my birthday, and I never thought about how cool that would be. Because it's your birthday, man. You get to pick where you're going,
right?
And you've chose our restaurant. That really has been that probably touches me more than anything else. And of course, being named that restaurant top 10 restaurant was like something we didn't see coming. It's very humbling because we put a lot of work into it, and we really thought we did something special. And it's fun to get rewarded, and it was the big paper in the neighborhood, So that stuff's cool. Everybody wants to help you. That drives you crazy. I told the servers when we first were getting ready to open, I said, now, every day you're going to walk up to a table and the person's going to say, I'm from Texas. I know barbecue. And they didn't really understand what I was saying. Oh, I was far short of once a day. It basically every table.
Wow.
Everybody has a story. Well, I'm from Virginia. I know barbecue, or I have a smoker. I cook barbecue too. I mean, on and on and on, every table. But it's cool because most of them like us by the time they get done. And I always think that we are really lucky to be serving something people are so passionate about. I can't imagine if you open a burger joint, everybody walks in with a story about where they ate their best burger and their grandpa cooking burgers and on and on and on. And this little town in Texas and this place in New Mexico. And it just never ends. It's really cool.
Ray, from a time spent perspective, I'm sure there was an expectation of how much time you were going to be in the restaurant. Are you in there more than you expected or not as much? Not saying that you have a preference one way or the other, but how are you finding it?
Well, there was a contractual number, and I expected I would probably do double that, and I'm probably doing 4 times that.
Really?
Yeah, it's right by my house. I enjoy being in there. I really care about it. I feel like I add some value. I don't do a lot of actual work around there. Frankly, Lee has taken a lot of problems off my plate. The idea was that I would be working with Lee to get things to happen the way I like them to happen, and frankly, he's doing such a good job. Every day I look at what he's doing and I just say, you're good. I'll walk away. So that's been pretty easy, but I find that I can really have a nice impact by just talking to the guests. The guests really think it's cool that I'm there. A lot of them don't know that I've been living in St. Petersburg for years, and they think it's pretty cool. Even if they didn't know me before, they see this face on the restaurant and that's kind of cool, but they don't expect that I would actually be there. So I really feel like I can help by doing that. So it's kind of fun. And I bust tables a lot. When they get busy, I don't mind carrying a bunch of dirty dishes into the kitchen. It's an easy way for me to help out. And I think it helps morale too. I think everybody thinks it's cool. And it's a nice place. I really don't mind hanging out there. The only problem is when I'm there, I'm working. It's really hard to go sit down for dinner. I had, Dr. Evil, Gary Craig from England was in the other day with Griff, who works for Whiskey Bent, and those guys were in the other day, and I would have liked to sit down and just have lunch with them, but I just can't. I get pulled here, I get pulled there, so I'm kind of bouncing around. So when I'm there, I'm working, but I really enjoy it, so it's been a lot more than I expected.
Would you write a book about opening a restaurant?
At some point, I would imagine we will, just to have swag to sell at the restaurant. We don't have a lot right now. We will. So I would imagine a book will happen down the road. I mean, the opening the restaurant, it was really a team effort. I mean, I couldn't have done it. There's no way even close that I could have open a restaurant like we have. So it'd be hard to write about all that opening because it was a lot of it I wasn't even involved in because I travel and I come back and sandwich day happened when I wasn't there. It's fine. The sandwiches we have are great. I'm happy with it. I mean, it's a great team. So it'd be hard to really write about the opening unless we all did it together. It'll probably be more about the menu and the road trips we did ahead of time and what our thinking was, to create it's a different kind of barbecue restaurant. I don't know if you've looked at the menu. It's not typical.
Do you have fried chicken, Ray?
Do we have what?
Do you have fried chicken?
No, we were going to. We had it on the menu, for a long time. When it started getting close, we realized we were probably short on fryer space because we're making house-made hand-cut French fries, and that takes a lot of time. And we're frying nachos, our pork rind nachos, and we realized we weren't going to have enough fryer space without doing something drastic, so we pulled it. But my guess is at some point we will. We would like to. It's just a matter of, we needed to get our feet under us, and we're doing pretty good now. I suspect when, a year or two down the road, we get bored with everything, you'll see some fried chicken.
Ray Lampe joining me here on the show for the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. Ray, switch it up a little bit here. We'll talk a little competition this coming weekend. KCBS is having their highly touted World Invitational Barbecue Championship in tropical Little Rock, Arkansas. Weather looks to be a balmy 43 degrees there this coming weekend at the moment. So not the worst temperature I've ever seen, but not 65 or better either. And I seem to recall that you mentioned that you were either sign up to cook or sign up to judge or do something along the lines there. So what's on the agenda for this weekend?
Yeah, I haven't cooked one in a long time. I haven't retired. I'll certainly cook again one of these days, but judging's kind of more what I'm doing these days. So I did sign up to judge because I've been a KCBS member since 1991. I'm member number 938 or something like that. This has been a big part of my life. Gary Wells was a friend of mine. I mean, I just been around it forever. So the fact that KCBS is finally going to do their own thing, I thought that was really cool. So I signed up to judge right away and plan to go. And I'm looking forward to it. I am going. I sort of forgot, though. It's like 80 here,
Every day.
Yeah, I live in Florida, and it's
Right.
80, and I'm thinking, what am I doing going to Little Rock? I've got to find my long pants and get them out and wear them. And I kind of wish I don't know. I don't want to beat up on them, but man, who was thinking that February in Little Rock was a good idea? Now, I just learned today that the judging will be indoors, so that's nice. But gosh, wouldn't it be nicer if we were somewhere warm? Maybe they should have came down here and done it where it's 80. But I'm going, and we'll have a good time. Looking forward to it.
I think the idea was to have it like centrally located, but I think some of those places at this time of the year, centrally located, can be also centrally freezing your ass off.
Yeah, well, last time I looked, it was going to be 45 for a high on Saturday and 29 overnight the night before. I mean, it's not going to make for a very good Friday night party.
Ray Lampe joining me here on the show. Do you want to run through a couple Facebook questions here, Ray?
Yeah, sure. I didn't see them, so this is a surprise to me.
All right, this one is from Jason Baumgardner. What happens if you completely remove all surface fat from a brisket before cooking?
It'll be dry.
Real barky, right?
Yeah, I mean, don't do that.
At all?
No, remove all the fat. Why would you do that? It's a brisket. There isn't a whole lot of internal fat. I don't care what you buy, so you need that outside fat, and plus it tastes good. It's funny. It's one of the things that we battle with at the restaurant all the time. We try to leave a nice little layer of fat on the brisket and the pastrami, and then sometimes we slice both muscles. Sometimes you get a little fat in between. And some people love us for that, and others freak out about it and think that there shouldn't be any fat at all. So it's a constant battle in my life. But no, man, you got to have some fat on a brisket. I don't know why. I don't know why you would do that. It makes no sense to me.
All right, next question from Brian Oliver. Of any, and this might kind of parlay into this coming weekend as you're judging, which team competing currently would you most like to judge or sample, and why?
Oh man, I'm so out of touch of it. I just don't know some of the top teams anymore. I'm not that into it. Darren, how about Darren and Sherry? Those guys are old friends of mine. I'd sure like to see what he's doing and eat some of it on the inside.
Joel Engelbert wants to know what your most epic fail was.
I once tried to make some pineapple horseradish chicken. For a cookbook recipe. I thought it sounded like a pretty good idea.
Sounds okay.
It was horrible, man. It was bad. I once soaked my ribs in Mountain Dew at a barbecue cook-off the night before, and actually won. So I would have thought that was going to be an epic fail. It's a different world now, though. That wouldn't win these days.
Mike Schilling wants to know, how about them Bears? Not bad, Ray. Not bad. Not bad.
No, it was a great year. It was a drag to lose like that at the end, but it was a great year, and they'll be back next year. They got a bunch of all their players are all signed for another couple of years, and they're in a good place.
Was it a drag of a Super Bowl in your estimation? I thought it was kind of boring.
No, I liked it. I didn't hate it. I mean, I'm a Bears fan. I like defense. You know, I think it wasn't like these guys were sucking. They were just playing good defense. No, I didn't hate it. I mean, it's not like 35-35, one of them kind of games. Yeah. But no, I didn't think it was a bad game at all. Frankly, I think nobody expected that they were both going to play such good defense. But don't ever count Belichick out. Everybody's waiting to see what he's going to do on offense. They forgot he also plays defense pretty well, and they really snuffed the Rams.
This coming weekend, you can find Ray Lampe judging at the World Invitational Barbecue Championship. So if you're around town and you're going to be stopping in there, you might see Ray there, catch a glimpse, say hi, sign an autograph, take a picture, all that good stuff. He's happy to do it. Otherwise, find him at drbbq.com and find him here on the first Tuesday of the month. Ray, always appreciate the time.
Appreciate you, Greg. See you later.
You got it. There he is, Ray Lampe, on his way to Little Rock, Arkansas for the World Invitational Barbecue Championship. I'm going off of memory here, but I think if you won a grand championship or a reserve grand championship in either the competitor series or a normal KCBS sanctioned event, again, don't quote me on that, but I believe that was right. Last year, then you qualified to show up this coming weekend and take part in the World Invitational Barbecue Championship. Again, in Little Rock, Arkansas. That's Ray Lampe, drbbq.com. Let me talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. Some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today, pound for pound. The existing ones that are out there, the Jim Bowie, the Daniel Boone, the Davy Crockett. There is a prime line that's going to be coming out here very shortly, end of the month. Owner Jason Baker will be coming on. We'll be talking extensively about the prime, the upgrades, what you can expect, the cost, price points, the technology, all that stuff. Green Mountain Grills, the first company to put Wi-Fi on a cooker. Don't let anybody else tell you different. They were the first ones to do it all the way back in the day. They are continuing to bring you that technology right today. Now, if you want something that's big, you want something that's going to cook a lot of food, the Jim Bowie is the one you want to go. I got one. Now, if you want something medium-sized, maybe you're a family of 2, 3, 4, or you just don't cook a lot of barbecue food, but you like it when you cook it, Daniel Boone's probably going to be a little bit more up your alley. If you want something portable to either, because you're like living in a apartment or townhouse or a row house, you just don't have the space to put a Daniel Boone or a Jim Bowie in, I get that. Davy Crockett is a great solution. It's a very small footprint. You get the wood pellet fired taste, but it can be moved in and out pretty easily, stored very easily. If you don't have access to a normal traditional outlet, it's all 12-volt powered, so you can plug it into a car adapter. Maybe you can go into your parking lot if you live in an apartment, power it right from your car, jam out the tunes. It's great. You go to greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. And check them all out. Remember the Daniel Boone and the Jim Bowie. If you rip the guts out, you can get the pizza oven insert. Now you have the pizza party every day of the week if you want to use it. Real easy to change out. This past weekend, I tore the pizza oven out of the Daniel Boone, dropped it in as regular cooker, and made a whole bunch of smoke-roasted wings, along with duck, along with 2 racks of spare ribs, along with shrimp. A feast on Super Bowl Sunday. All courtesy of the Daniel Boone, for sure. Green Mountain Grills, check them out. They got pellets to fire those cookers. They got rubs, sauces, covers, all different kinds of accessories. One-stop shopping at greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. We're back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, for joining me last segment. Big second hour coming up. If you want to jump in, 216-220-0966. Your best shot at that. Coming up next segment, top of the hour. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Otherwise, on the email. You can also hit me up on Instagram at BBQ Central Show. You can also do that on Twitter at BBQ Central Show. I'm trying to stream out to Periscope, which is Twitter. But XSplit and Periscope are not playing correctly right now. Try and get that figured out here before next show. Anyway, refresh your libations. Come back for the second hour of the show. It is the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Bobby Lampe from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Barbecue Central Show. You have found it successfully or by mistake, or somebody has tricked you to come here because they think you're a live fire enthusiast, and they truly believe that you will glean an incredible amount of information and education, also entertainment. Why not? Funny. Still to come on this show tonight, in about 13 minutes from now, Hank Kornblit from Mr. Brisket. Also, Annella Kelso from Snake River Farm. So, kind of a meaty second hour, if you know what I mean. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Those are the ways to get in touch with the show. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram and Twitter /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday. It is two independent segments coming from the same show. A segment with Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Also, I don't know if you remember this guy. I don't even know if he's still active, but there used to be a fairly popular blogger. You know, when people actually used to sit down and type out posts instead of either doing podcasts or live shows or YouTube videos. John Thomas of Grilling 24/7. Anybody remember John Thomas? He's also on the back end of that Best of show, so we thank John Solberg for producing another hit. Also, don't forget that every Friday I am appearing on the John Cupo Show as a guest. That's right. He thinks I'm a barbecue expert and has asked me to show up for roughly an hour, starting around 7:30 in the morning. We go until about 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock. It really depends on if the movie guy shows up. Sometimes if the movie guy shows up, I'm allowed to sit in and give my critiques on movies, which I don't watch movies. So I rarely add to the conversation when it comes to the movie talk. But if you're local Willoughby, Ohio, 1330 a.m. or simulcasted on 101.5 FM. And again, that's good for about 15 to 20 miles outside of Willoughby. Otherwise, it'll start to blink out. You can get it on wintradio.com. I would recommend that if you don't live near Willoughby, And obviously on the outside surrounding states or anywhere in America or the world, wintradio.com, your best place to go get it. Wanted to follow up a story that I gave you last week, that being Adam Perry Lang being arrested for what it appeared to be a swatting incident. And there really aren't too many more follow-up stories. Actually, let me go ahead and hit Google for, stupid keyboard. Adam Perry Lang update. Because I have kind of an update, but I have to put in arrest to bring in the update? Really? Oh, January. Wow. No real great up-to-date updates, so let me go back to this one. Some of you asked over the course of the week, I don't know why you didn't hit Google, why Adam Perry Lang was in Jimmy Kimmel's beach house when this whole incident went down last week. Now, according to multiple reports, to include NewYorkDailyNews.com, Adam Perry Lang is staying at Jimmy Kimmel's beach house because he's currently going through a divorce with his estranged wife. This seems to have been going on since late 2017. So it's been a while. I'm still waiting on further detail from anybody in Adam Perry Lang's camp. Adam Perry Lang directly. I have exhausted all of my sources and contacts, and still have not gotten anything back yet. Not a surprise. There really haven't been any major updates through any of the news sources, but that's why he was staying in Jimmy Kimmel's beach house, because he's going through a divorce, unfortunately. Now, I did see, because I follow him on Instagram, of course, that he started reappearing in his stories. And, of course, the alleged swatting incident, because we don't know, coincided with his unveiling of a year-old, like 365-plus days dry-aged meat that he was staking out to his restaurant patrons. So he just started that, and then boom, this happened. So I did see him start showing up on his social media again. So Adam, if you're listening, and I know you are, reach out. I'll put you on here. I'll give you a forum to talk about what's happening. No problems. No Jerry Springer stuff. No Maury Povich stuff. I would not do that to you. I would not do that to you. And that is the best Maury Povich bite ever. That guy is so happy that he is not the father of that lady's child. Have you ever seen that? The video of it is great. If you just search Andrew, you are not the father on YouTube, it immediately comes up. So you get this.
Andrew, you are not the father.
You hear him screaming in the background, right? And then you hear the music coming up, the big boy music, and he just starts doing this dance. I mean, my guy had some moves. It's the best. You got to go back and then you got to go back and watch this one.
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live!
If you've never seen the Do It Live rant from Bill O'Reilly, it's utterly classic. Yelling at people. Yelling at his stage people. How dare you? England is one of my favorite Centralite places ever. I mean, they have really good barbecue cooks. I have done a number of stories related to England, the UK, Europe in general. Those stories have not gone very well. They've not. They include burning open charcoal fires inside, getting carbon monoxide poisoning to anybody and everybody that is in that place, trying to dry laundry inside over the top of charcoal burning. A lot of the news stories coming out of there haven't been great. Ones that aren't necessarily rivaled here in the States, thank goodness. But if it's one thing I know, Centralites be loving themselves some gravy. There's no doubt about it. Love gravy on fries, on potatoes, on steak, gravy on top of gravy. Of course, one of the key components / ingredients of booze teen is gravy. We love gravy. Love it. Well, Kentucky Fried Chicken has latched on to the love of gravy, but it's across the pond. They have launched a limited edition candle that smells like gravy. They have. Gravy is one of life's greatest condiments. You can lather it on your Sunday roast, your bangers and mash, even fried chicken, of course. Fried chicken chain KFC is known for its tasty gravy, and now you can fill your home with that meaty scent. It's not a meaty scent, it's a gravy scent. As a KFC has launched a new gravy-scented candle, they are just a very limited run of 230 limited edition candles of this artisanal makeup for grabs. They'll be available on a first-come, first-served basis. To get your candle, you visit some website that you're not going to be able to get because you live here in America, fools, for your chance to win. To accompany the mouth-watering gravy scent, KFC has also unveiled its new KFC Chili experience, which allows users to listen to, their chill experience, which allows users to listen to KFC Gravy Mega Box, choosing between sounds of frying chicken, falling fries, and simmering gravy. If you're burning a gravy-scented candle in your house, you're not looking to chill. You're looking to put fried chicken, falling fries, and simmering gravy in your mouth. Gravy candle. Just when I think I've seen it all, gravy candle now takes the cake for the most outrageous thing I've ever heard. Thank you, England, for that. Where's Ed from A Fine Swine? Ed, grab me one of those candles. Send it over to me. I'll have you back on the show. No doubt. My treat. Gravy-scented candle. Wow. Hank Cornblood coming up out of the break from Mr. Brisket. I'll talk to you quickly about the barbecue guru. They created automatic temperature control technology. No doubt. Many different models to choose from. The CyberQ Cloud is the newest controller that they have out. So if you're really into the tech, you really want to be able to graph, you want complete access no matter where you are in the country or world, as long as you have internet access, Cloud is right up your alley. Don't forget, they have that monolith cooker. This cooker is a ceramic or Kamado-style cooker. The unique thing about this is it has a built-in power draft fan already in it. So if you have a controller already, you don't need to go buy a new one in order to operate the monolith. Just hook up the controller that you have, and you are off and running. They also have a great number of ancillary or accoutrements that makes the barbecue and grilling life easier. Like what? The rib ring. Do you have a Big Green Egg or some other kind of Kamado-style cooker? Maybe a monolith? And you've like, curses, I can only get 3 racks on this, no matter what I do. The rib ring is right up your alley. You can now go from 3 to 6 racks of St. Louis spare ribs. If you want to forego 1 rack in the middle, you can put a whole roasting chicken in there. Legs down. It's one of the best inventions. Not necessarily talked about a lot, but for the folks that have it, they love it. Got a drip tray. Again, 6 racks. bbqguru.com. That's bbqguru.com. Barbecue Guru continues to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. Mr. Brisket coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
the only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Smithfield. Hey, are you interested in the Committed Cooks program? You know you are. You've been procrastinating. Shame on you. Well, the good news is this. There's still a few spots left with this year's Smokin' with Smithfield Committed Cooks program, but don't delay. Head to smokinwithsmithfield.com. That's SMOKIN. Smokinwithsmithfield.com and sign up for that Committed Cooks program. It's like $20 or $25 to cover the shipping. You get over $100 worth of stuff. Can't beat it. Go to Smokin' with Smithfield right now. You know, I've been saying since 2018 that dry-aged beef is on the rise in popularity, so much so that folks are starting to bring it into their homes and do it themselves. That's the true mark of a trend, at least in my book. But my next guest, who is steeped in beefy tradition, has a differing opinion from mine as it's related to the dry-aged beef deliciousness. Best of all, located right here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, dare I say, the barbecue capital of the North Coast, Cleveland, Ohio. So we go ahead and race to the hotline and welcome in first-time guest to the show. You can find him at MrBrisket.com. Hank Kornbluth joining me here on the show. Hank, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous. Hank, am I saying the last name right? Please correct me.
You're close enough. The truth is, I don't know how it's pronounced. You're saying it the way I say it, so that's good.
Okay, well, as long as you say it that way, I will say it that way. Easy enough.
Yep. Thank you.
Hank, what's the exact tie-in for you to the Mr. Brisket Arena exactly?
Okay, so in the early 1970s, my stepfather's parents had a poultry business, a live-kill poultry business in Cleveland, Ohio. My stepfather's father passes away. They closed the store, and there's a couple accounts left over. My stepfather ends up inheriting them, and he eventually starts to learn about quality meat and decides to open up his own butcher shop in Cleveland, Ohio. It was the first butcher shop in the Cleveland area that was selling prime meat. There was no one else doing anything like it at the time. He had all sorts of, high-level cuts of beef that he was purveying and delivering to people in their homes. And he started it really in 1974. I sort of took it over about 10 years ago full time, and that's what happens when you go to college and major in English, I guess.
So you didn't have a burning desire to go teach the youth of America about dangling participles?
I'm not sure that I could, but no, not in particular.
So did you, were you around the business growing up then? I mean, aside from going to college
Sure.
and getting that degree, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, my stepdad was, a real foodie, and he was always bringing home really good meat, and he was having these lavish dinner parties and cooking for, 30 people in a tiny house, and it was a lot of fun. We used to go out to dinner all sorts of places. We would go to, New York a lot and go out to eat there because at that time, that was sort of the pinnacle of dining out, plus whatever places there were in Cleveland at the time. So, yeah, I was always around it. And then when I finished up college, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with myself. So I was sort of hanging around the business, helping out and coaching high school wrestling. And eventually I got married and had a family to support and got more and more involved in the business.
All right, so you kind of take it over, as you had mentioned. So was that like around 2008, 2009?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really around 2000. I guess we go back that far to say that's really when I became invested in the business.
Was it like, hey, I want to take this over, or was it like, hey, Hank, take this over?
I would say it segued from one into the other. I just, I got married. I had, I was married for 10 weeks and my wife was pregnant. So imagine that.
Yeah.
And
how does that happen?
You know, so it was time. Yeah, well,
Different
that's a
segment.
good question. 'Cause I kept telling my wife we needed to wait a while, but you know, that wasn't on her agenda. And it has been the case since we got married. She tends to sort of push us forward. So,
got it.
Yep. Anyway, so yeah, I got married and I had a kid on the way, and I had to really think about making a living. So my stepdad was happy to have me help. I was involved anyway, and I just took a more active role at the time.
Hank Kornblit joining me here on the show. The website, MISTER, MrBrisket.com, if you want to check it out here while we're talking. Hank, how has the store evolved over time in order to not only stay in business in the greater Cleveland area, but become a leader here locally and relevant across the nation?
First of all, thank you for the compliment. Saying that we're, relevant outside of Cleveland means a lot to me, because that's something that, I've worked hard to do. The truth is, it's adapt or die in the world of small business. And if you don't do things that you need to do to continue to appeal to the public, a lot of businesses have failed, in the last 10, 15 years because they weren't able to do that. It's not easy to stay in business as a small business. I think that, it sounds simplistic to say now, based on the fact that it's 2019 and everyone has a website, but, we made a point of getting a website at a time when it made sense to get one. We didn't think e-commerce was going to be the end all be all right at 2000 when everyone did. And we were right about that. But we went from being strictly a butcher shop specializing in premium quality raw meat products to, a place that was more, not only doing that, but also doing some prepared foods, like catering and sandwiches and this sort of thing. And we've always sort of been good about, doing different things. We have a handful of wholesale clients we take care of. We have our retail meat clients. We have, people coming in to eat. And then, of course, I've been very fortunate to have been discovered by the competitive barbecue community. I sell a reasonable number of briskets, that I ship out on a weekly basis all over the place to people doing competition. And I'm exceedingly grateful for that little chunk of business. So I think that it's just a matter of keeping your ears open and paying attention to what's going on around you and trying to make sure that, you are available to opportunities when they arise.
Did the competition world find you, Hank, or did you get in touch with somebody and then word of mouth grew from there?
A gentleman by the name of John Gamble, who had an outfit called Historic Barbecue, which is still in business.
Yep.
And still competing, primarily with Tony Bunce running it. John found me, and John sort of took me under his wing and taught me what was going on a little bit. At the time, I was selling strictly prime brisket, and he was buying them from me. And then he said to me, Hank, you're going to have to start carrying Wagyu briskets. And I didn't know anything about Wagyu meat at the time and what was going on with that. But he insisted that all the Southern barbecue competitors that were winning all the time were all insisting that's what you had to have. So he got me started moving in that direction. And, to this day, I'm still trying to learn everything I can about what products are available and which ones are good and why, and trying to do my best to make sure I have them available to people who want them.
Hank.
So that would be how I got started, though. Mainly it was John, and John sort of singing my praises to other people in competition and sort of getting my name out there a little bit. That's how it got started. John actually led me to Luke Darnell from Old Virginia Smoke,
yep.
and I've had a good relationship with Luke for the last several years. Luke and a guy, Mark Gibbs, who's got Checkered Flag Barbecue. Yep. He's another really fine competitor. And, lots of guys like that. But, having connections to some of these guys has been very helpful. If they like you and you do a good job for them, and the main thing I'm able to do is be their, eyes in the cooler, picking out what I believe are the best possible briskets for them and any clientele I have. you know, they'll talk you up, and that's what we're all looking to do. You know, is try and increase our you know, our sales out there as best as possible.
Hank Kornblatt joining me here on the show from Mr. Brisket. All right, Hank, so let's go ahead and get into the discussion of the evening here, which is dry aging. And I guess first and foremost, tell me why you hate dry aging, why you hate dry aging's guts.
All right, first of all, I don't hate it. But I understand what you're saying, Greg. You saw what I wrote that one day on Facebook, and you saw it as a good topic of discussion. And I agree with you that it is.
Yep.
I'm going to give you my analogy. I happen to think, based on a couple tests that we've done at my store, that it's kind of like those Russian dolls. In other words, you have a doll, and then you open it up, and inside is another doll, and you open it up, and inside is another doll. They're all identical. They just get smaller. And I happen to think that when you take, you know, a large rib roast or you know, a bone-in strip loin, or you take a short loin or whatever you're using, and you age it for, you know, about 40 days, and you get that nice bark on it, I think that when you trim everything away, the meat you're left with does not taste different than it would have if you had left it alone. That's my opinion. The only thing I have to back that up is the fact that we've done several tests at my shop. And what we've done is we've had like 15, 20 people, and we've aged, you know, a strip loin in one case, and another time we did it with a rib roast. And you take one that you've aged, you take one that you don't age, you trim them, you cook them, and then you give people the opportunity to taste and tell you what they think. And, you know, in each case, what happened when we did these tastings was we'd say, well, do you think A is better? Do you think B is better? Or do you think there's C? There's really not a discernible difference.
Mm-hmm.
And in each case, the not a discernible difference won out. Now, there are other possible explanations for why that was the case, you know, and there's people who would insist you didn't age it long enough, or maybe, you know, even though they were both prime, one was better than the other, and that had an impact. I mean, there's lots of things that can affect it. But, you know, I am well aware of the fact that aging meat is considered to be, you know, something that you just have to do to make it taste better. I just feel that it's that there's absolutely no evidence, that it's all anecdotal. That's my opinion, of course, based on, you know, my experience.
Now, I'm certainly no meat expert. I'm certainly no dry aging expert, aside from talking to a bunch of people that appear to be experts. And I guess the line of delineation, and so I guess I'm surprised that your findings is 28 to 30 days. It's not a flavor thing. It's supposed to be some type of a tenderness thing. But past 30 days, so 40 days, I mean, if you go to Red the Steakhouse, I think they have a
40
44.
days is how long we've done it, yeah.
Yeah, so there should have been, I guess, some kind of, for lack of a better descriptor, funk to the meat in a good way, like a blue cheesy or something, but it just wasn't there for you guys at 40 days, right?
Greg, when you look at the meat, you absolutely want to believe that it's going to taste better. Because let's face it, you're wasting a lot of meat.
Right.
You let's say you start off with an 18-pound bone-in rib roast, okay? And you take it and you age it 40 days. Well, you're going to have to trim away, you know, a lot of meat. You know, and that's going to make it more expensive. So because it's more expensive, everyone, you know, is invested in the idea that, hey, it's more expensive because we had to throw away a bunch of meat that had rotted away, essentially. So therefore, what's in there still is going to taste better. But does it taste better? That's the question. And again, you know, when we've tested this theory out, it hasn't come back in any way to indicate to us that it tastes better. Now, having said that, I age 30 prime rib roasts every year at Christmas for customers because that's what they want. You know, you can't fight the market, or it's silly to fight the market. Put it that way. I know that people want aged meat. I know that there's a market for it. I just don't personally think that it has an impact. So, you know, that's just been my experience.
So if I come into Mr. Brisket tomorrow, Hank, is there a dry aged section, or is that something that I have to get in touch with you and we have to put it away?
No, there's no dry aged section at the moment. This is a quieter time of year, so you know you tend to lean out, run a smaller inventory. I mean, I have, a handful of prime age rib roasts. I got some, Wagyu rib roast that'll come in next week. But I don't have a ton of stuff in it at the moment. But I would say this, Craig, this would be an interesting, I'll pitch you here.
Yeah.
We could do a fun show live from Mr. Brisket if you wanted, where I could age something for 40, 45 days, and we could get some people in my dining room. I have a room next door now that we built for sit down. We could, roast a rib roast that's been aged, one that isn't aged, and we could do it right there on the spot and do it live and see what people think and see if there's a difference, and we could, argue or not argue about it.
Yeah, I think that's a show that's got legs on it for sure. And if we can't do it live, I mean, we can at least record it.
That would be a good time.
Yeah, we can. I mean, worst comes to worst. I'm always a little leery about doing anything live on location, but we can certainly record it, get all the audio and feedback, and then I could replay it for the show on Tuesday. But yeah, I think that would be great. Maybe even we could push it out to like 65 days. I mean, are you totally crazed with? Are you crazed with the fact that Adam Perry Lang rolled out a 365+ day dry aged piece of beef the other day?
No, I'm not crazed. I think that people are, marketing is marketing, and everyone is out there trying to, create a new trend, or come up with something different. And, if you're going to have an audience and they're going to pay, then why not? So, the only thing I would caution is, boy, if you're going to age something that long, if the blood curdles, it's not going to taste good. I don't know how, you age something that long without a problem with the flavor. But there are people who know a lot more about this sort of thing than I do. So.
Hank, if somebody's interested in either getting some beef, steak, or whatever, maybe some briskets, are there any like specials or promos that you're doing right now?
Yeah, especially the, when competition season slows down, these, Imperial, with whom which is a wonderful Wagyu company out of Blair, Nebraska, they suddenly were overwhelmed with, they suddenly had a large inventory on briskets, and I've bought out a significant part of their inventory, and I have a lot of beautiful, big Wagyu briskets right now with great marbling that are just, that I'm selling for, $6.99 a pound if you buy one, $6.49 a pound if you buy two or more. I'm usually, $7.99 to $8.99 a pound on these things. So, I'm selling them like crazy at the moment to, my competition customers, but I'm always looking for new ones. This is a great time to buy competition briskets from Mr. Brisket, and just, store them away and get ready for your first comp of the season, and instead, and have a great brisket to pull out and compete with to start and get it at a bargain price.
The website is MrBrisket.com, spelled out M-I-S-T-E-R, MrBrisket.com. And again, great prices, Hank mentioned. So, Hank, we will definitely put together this new dry aging event. We'll market it.
Yeah.
We'll maybe do it live.
A lot of fun.
I think that would be absolutely great. And then, of course, I have to get out there and meet you in person. I mean, I've been living in Cleveland for 20 years and hosting a barbecue show. I mean, where the hell am I? That's a shame on me. Can't believe it. But anyway, I appreciate you making time this evening. Again, MrBrisket.com. And we'll talk to you again soon, Hank. Thanks so much.
Greg, thank you.
You got it. There he is. Mr. Brisket, Hank Kornblit, M-I-S-T-E-R brisket.com. I think that's a pretty good price. $2 off of whatever he typically sells, around $2 off. I see John Dawson weighing in through email, talking about better than the gravy candle was the brisket candle. Wasn't that Rudy's barbecue joint or whatever that did that? Oh, wait, where is this? The numeral 4rsmokehouse.com. Brisket candle, $17. Unique scented candle that brings the allure of the Four Rivers Smokehouse to your home. Brisket candle, 4rsmokehouse.com. I'll go buy a brisket candle then. Thanks, John. Thanks, Joe. Hey, let me talk to you quickly about Southside Market and Barbecue before we get to Annella Kelso of Snake River Farms, established in 1882. Southside Market is the oldest barbecue joint in Texas. They've been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. They offer premium Central Texas barbecue products, slow smoked over real wood, shipping, distributing, manufacturing sausages for companies across the U.S. From food trucks to multi-chain restaurants, Southside Market can be on your menu too. All meats are processed on that on-site USDA-inspected facility. Trusted partner with a focus on quality and authenticity. Wholesale options available. Shipping nationwide via FedEx. Food service distribution through Cisco, U.S. Foods, and Martin Foods. Co-packaging capable from research and development to package completion. They can follow your recipe or help you develop something brand new right from the jump. Private label opportunities also available, right? So if you were like Mr. Brisket, you didn't have any sausages, you didn't want to make them, but you want something tried and true, you private label the Southside Market sausages, right? Yeah. Visit SouthsideMarket.com for more information. Here's the kicker. 10% off all online orders when you go to SouthsideMarket.com. At checkout, you enter code BBQ Central. One word, lowercase, BBQ Central. 10% off on all of your online orders. SouthsideMarket.com. That's SouthsideMarket.com. Snake River Farms coming up out of the break. Stick around. Be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via Bluetooth. And if you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. So easy to set up. So easy. Oh, easy there, fella. So visit fireboard.com. It's so nice. Hey, my next guest, the face of Snake River Farms. In 2019, they will continue to run, 2019, they will continue to run the Snake River Farms Brisket Challenge. Locations to be announced here during this segment. So let's go ahead to the hotline and welcome back friend of show, Annella Kelso.
If you would please leave your name, number, and a brief message. I will get back to you as soon as possible.
Right.
Thank you for calling and have a great day. Please.
That's a smoky message there. All right, now I got to find that number. Damn it. Oh, wait. It was in my Facebooks. I apologize right off the rip here in case we get some echoing because I might play, might not. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, dear. Let me get the number. Going back and forth. Stay with me here. Again, thanks to Hank from Mr. Brisket for joining me. We're getting there. I'm going to find that. Here we go. Copy and paste. You know, this is high-level stuff that we're doing on this show. A lot of copying, a lot of pasting, making sure that we're doing it right. Let me do the re-intro. Joining me now, the face of Snake River Farms, the meat maven herself, Annella Kelso. Hi, Annella.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing, Frank?
I'm doing great. I don't know if you knew it or not, but I had Malcom Reed on the show in the first hour.
I was super pumped. I haven't seen him in a minute. I was excited to see him out talking and doing awesome stuff.
Yes, he's very popular, so you know I had to lock him up here on this show because I have only the top names. Henceforth, Snake River Farms is on the show. So let's talk about Snake River Farms and briskets and challenges and all that stuff. I guess before we get into locations for 2019, let's talk about that nifty little 180 club?
Yeah, so we've done the 180 Club. This is about the 4th year that we've done it. We essentially just put it out there that if you cook SRF and you get a 180 with it, we give you a $100 gift certificate. We send out some pretty cool 180 Club swag. The only way you can get the shirts, the only way you can get the swag is to win it. And so when people call us, I'm like, oh, really good. We saw there were about 25 less 180s this year than there were, or I guess 15. There were 100 perfect briskets last year, and there were only 85 this year. So, and I don't know if that has to do with less contests being cooked or what, but it's still pretty impressive when you look at, to have that many across the whole segment is pretty impressive. And we get excited when we see teams that post and have the shirts on. And this year we're going to do some pretty cool swag boxes that are going to go along with it that, like I said, you'll only be able to get if you're part of the club.
Annella Kelso joining me here on the show. SnakeRiverFarms.com is the website. I guess from a competition standpoint, Annella, what else is happening here for 2019?
We have, it was a good year for us in 2018. We looked at the fact of overall teams in KCBS. We had 70% of the top 10 teams overall and of the top 20 teams overall, and then 80% of the top 10 brisket teams that cooked SRF. We've got a couple of really cool things that we're doing. We are doing a Cooking with the Champs contest. We started looking at like who was doing classes. We're really big on we don't sponsor teams, but we do a lot with philanthropic efforts. We do a lot with educational opportunities. And then we also do the challenge that we're going to talk about in a minute. But we really love the educational piece. And we've worked with a lot of different teams and their classes and those kind of things. And we noticed when we were kind of putting together the schedule for this year that some pretty big names were all having a class the exact same weekend. The first weekend in March, the last 4 years worth of KCBS Team of the Years cooks were all having a class. So we kind of, and they're all National Barbecue League teams, and they're all SRF cooks. They cook SRF, and so we were kind of like, hey, do you guys want to do this cool thing and give away a spot to your class? So we are today's actually the last day to enter. We're drawing the winner tomorrow at noon, so Mountain Standard Time. So you have till tomorrow at noon. It's just snakeriverfarms.com/giveaway. And we are giving away registration and lodging. You have to get to the class, but we're giving away registration and lodging to Travis Clark Crew Barbecues class in Yukon, Oklahoma. We're giving away a class to Porky Butts class in Omaha, Nebraska. And we're giving away a seat in the Hot and Fast class with Getting Basted and Shake and Bake in Missouri. So 3 pretty big giveaways. We get a lot of calls all the time from cooks and stuff that, what do we do different and how do we break into this thing? And even cooks that have been doing it a long time. And I always say, find a really good class and take a really good class. And, knowledge is power. And I have sat in classes where I've got world champions sitting right next to me learning from another world champion. And they say, they may not be there for all of the tips and tricks, but they may be there for that one tiny thing that they could change or they could do differently that would help their cook. And so we're really excited to partner with all of those teams. They all do a really great job. And, so you got a couple low and slow classes, a hot and fast class. If people want to register, you can register for each class one time. And then we'll draw the winners on Wednesday. We're going to announce on Friday who won those classes. So we're pretty excited about that. And then we have the challenge. So the SRF challenge is now in its 4th year. We started with one contest out in California, and we've grown it now. We put cash and prizes back into the contest. We put up money and drums for those teams that are cooking Snake River Farms. And what we do is we pick 6 contests a year. A couple of them are doubles this year, so it kind of is a bonus out there.
Yep.
But we pick 6 contests across the country. We try to go all over the country, coast to coast, north to south. We try to get a little bit of everything. And we go out, and if you win the brisket category and you're cooking SRF, then you have your choice of $1,500 store credit or $1,000 cash, a new Gateway drum smoker. The GC gets, if they're cooking SRF, they get $500 store credit for their choice of 2 briskets. It's kind of what we put that at.
Yep.
And we come out and we do, we help support the kids' queues and ancillary projects, dinners. And really, we look for we partner with a lot of events that have philanthropic efforts behind them. And so we really try our best to give back to not just the barbecue community, but to the communities who support these contests. It's not cheap to put on a barbecue contest.
Sure.
It's hard, and it's a lot of work. And these promoters who are putting in and working with the cities and working with, a lot of times they have to beg the cities, like, come on, we promise it'll be worth it. And so we really want to be able to come in and say, hey, we've got this, we've got extra product, we've got, cash and prizes. The only way you can win, the only way you can get the SRF drums is to win them. I think there have been a few people that I've seen that have cooked in them. There have been a few people that have won more than one, and they're just, trophies. But we're pretty excited. And so we had over 100 applicants this year submitting their contests, which was a bit overwhelming and pretty exciting to go through. And, and I go through every single one. I look at the websites, I look at the information that they put out. I have, a bunch of folks that I talk to kind of, help whittle it down. And so are we ready to?
Oh, we're going to unveil the 2019 Snake River Farms Brisket Challenge, baby. All right, here we go.
We are starting off in Arcadia, California, March 29th and 31st at the 8th Annual Santa Anita Winners Cup. And I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying that it's a double, but it's going to be a double now. It's never been a double before. So sorry, Ben, if I wasn't supposed to say that. We are then going to Osage City, Kansas for Smoke in the Spring, April 12th and 13th. May 3rd through 5th, we will be at Masters in May and the Classic, which is in Bancroft, Wisconsin. It's kind of moved a couple different cities over the last couple of years, but it's another double, and it's a really great contest. We always love going out to Wisconsin. June 14th and 15th, we are headed to Frisco, Colorado for the Frisco Barbecue Challenge, which I've never been to. I've heard amazing things, and every single person who's been has said it'll change my mind on barbecue forever. So I'm pretty excited for that one. Another new spot where we've never ventured out to, August 24th and 25th, we will be at the Coracate for Kids in Hiram, Maine. So we're going to the Northeast. Every year we announce the East, and everyone in the Northeast tells us that we don't show them any love. So if you don't have Maine on your calendars, friends, get it on there, because we're coming out that direction. And then September, October are usually, reserved for the Royal and the Jack. So we try not to do challenges those months. And then in December, we're headed to another place we've never been and doing something we've never done. We are going to host an SRF challenge at our very first IBCA contest. Everything thus far has always been KCBS. So we are going to Texas. We're going to Uvalde, Texas. And we are going to be there the December 13th and 14th for the Briscoe Ranch Barbecue Cook-Off.
Wow. So that's exciting getting into Texas, right?
Yeah, those are the 6 official contests. We do quite a bit of business in Texas. I mean, we do a lot of food service. We do retail. We have our online component as well, but we do a lot of business in Texas. We sell more briskets in Texas than any other state.
Doesn't Ronnie Killen buy a lot of your briskets?
Yeah, Ronnie Killen has our Double R and SRF briskets exclusively in his restaurant.
Wow.
We've got a few others down there as well, and are ever growing. We're going to be in Houston in a couple weeks at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, doing a lot of great fun things. But so those are the 6 official contests that we're doing for the challenge. If you are a cook and you are cooking those challenges, it's free to register. It's snakeriverfarms.com/SRF challenge. We are also, even though we can't go out and do the challenge at every contest, we also still want to make sure that, you know, we're giving back to barbecue as much as we can. When we go out and do a challenge, it's really close to about $4,000 in cash and prizes and product that we put into those contests. And so we've also looked at a few other contests, not necessarily to do the challenge at, but to just be a part of and do brisket bonuses and kids cues and those kind of things. And so we did that earlier this year in Lake Cachuma, California. Jambo, Jamie himself is doing a cook-off in Texas in April, I think. So we're going to be a part of that in a capacity. Mankato out in Minnesota, Valley, Nebraska, Norco, California. So there's other places that you're gonna, you know, obviously see us, and then we'll be at, you know, we'll be at Houston, Memphis, the Royal, the Jack, where we hope to always be. But it's been a great year. We've always had great success with the challenges. I think people really enjoy it and love it. We come out and, you know, hand out swag and hand out prizes, and you know, we work with really great. We've been so fortunate to work with great promoters and be able to go to great events, and we're just excited to see what happens next.
Annella Kelso joining me here on the show from Snake River Farms. Quickly, Annella, I wanted to have you mention the new consumer sections, especially that I just got done having a dry age discussion with Hank from Mr. Brisket segment before this, but you guys are offering a new dry aged course too, right?
We are. We have an entire collection of dry aged products, and you know, of course, obviously, I listened in to the segment, and you know, I mean, I think that I will be. I mean, I'm 100% honest here and transparent. I am not a huge dry age fan. If it's beyond like that 35, 45 day mark, I will tell you, we have had some in the office that, I mean, has been 200 day aged, 400 day aged. We work with an amazing company in New York, Prime Food Distributors, and they do all of our dry aging for us. And it is just a remarkable place to go and visit and see what they do and how they do it, and you know, very temperature controlled. And so, you know, I mean, it is kind of a craze right now, and you're seeing a lot of people at home doing it and stuff like that. It's completely different when you see the folks who are doing it on a professional, huge, big scale like that. So they're aging all of our products for us. They're doing prime and Wagyu, and they are hand cutting it and shipping it fresh, and it gets to you in, you know, overnight or 2 days. We also have on the SRF side, we released flank steaks in black and gold. We've brought forth some traditional Wagyu cuts. When I say that, when you look at like a normal ribeye, you know, you can look at like anywhere from a 12 to, you know, 28 ounce ribeye that you're going to see. And the Wagyus are a bit bigger, so the traditional cuts are a bit bigger. But we've got a T-bone, a porterhouse, and a ribeye. You know, those are like 2 pounds each when you buy them individually. So they're definitely a splurge, and you know, for more than one person, I would hope. We've got the picanha. We've had culotte for quite some time, and we actually discontinued the culotte because it didn't have a fat cap on it. And so now we've got the product, which is just a culotte, a sirloin cap roast with a fat cap on it, which is called a picanha. And it is, if you've never had one, they're phenomenal. And then we also, one of the big boys is we did a gold grade bone-in prime rib roast. Oh. And so for the adventurous person who really wants to show off, there's that one. And, you know, and we sell a lot of them. So it's, you know, we've got the demand over the last year for more dry age product, more bone-in product. And so we listen to our customers. We've got a lot of our promos come out every Monday. So if you're not on our email list, I always say sign up for our email list, because that's where our best offers are going to be. We've got a lot of great stuff coming up for the spring, for Father's Day will be here before we even know it, and you're gonna wanna be around for those offers. And our customer service reps are always there. I'm always available. So we're there to make sure everybody's eating good meat.
And before the show is over, we're going to be giving away a 20-pound gold brisket, if you can believe that. About $250 retail or so. So we always appreciate that, Annella. In the meantime, SnakeRiverFarms.com is the place to go. Also, if you wanted to take part in that giveaway, hit that same website and then add a /giveaway, and you can go ahead and hook that up as well. Annella, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
You got it. There she is, Annella Kelso from Snake River Farms. All right. So let me reset you here real quick. This is the time you've been waiting for. You're going to have to pick up the phone. You're going to have to call in, and you're going to have to answer one small question. And we got to do it right now before we run out of time. 216-220-0966. I will put you up. I will ask you a question about the show tonight. You answer correctly. That is so lame I allowed that. You're going to get a brisket. It's just that simple. All right, I got one on the line right now, so hold on. Let me stand by. Let me get through this real quick.
Whole packers.
Hold on.
Full wraps.
Don't hang up.
Legs and thighs.
Oh, all right.
Butts.
Yeah, we know.
You've never heard this before.
Let's go to the line. Who's on the line?
Sean McCulligan.
Sean! Didn't you almost get a divorce earlier, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to show that on the show tonight. I just got lost. All right, are you ready to try and win a gold 20-pound, $250 Snake River Farms brisket?
We shall try.
All right, here we go. Very tough question here, Sean. So use all of your faculties to try and come up with this one. In the first hour, I was talking with Malcom Reed, How to BBQ Right. Name the state he lives in.
Oh, biscuits and gravy.
I need an answer.
Ohio.
No! Ohio? I live in Ohio. All right, hold on. All right, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hello.
Who's this?
This is Joe.
Joe, you ready to try and win a Wagyu brisket?
Let's give it a shot.
All right, got to answer this question. Hopefully you were listening. In the second hour, I was talking with Mr. Brisket. What's his website?
It's Mr. MISTER brisket.com.
You win. Yeah, baby. Joe wins a 20-pound Snake River Farms brisket valued at $250. Joe, you have to be tremendously excited.
Wow. Yeah, this is Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue on your chat. They're watching.
Look at you. You're paying attention. Oh, yeah. Joe, I love it. All right, Joe, so here's what you have to do. You send me an email in the subject line, put brisket winner, and then please include your whole address and then a cell phone number, because I know we're going to need that as well. And then Annella will ship that brisket out to you directly.
Awesome, Greg. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, thanks for calling in. There he is, Joe. All right, that's enough. We got a winner. Now let me play myself out of here. Man, you got to be a clapping fool to do that. All right, now we have to really hurry. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with a new first Tuesday of the month guest, Malcom Reed, How to BBQ Right. We were backed up by the first and continuing first Tuesday of the month guest, Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe, who will be in Little Rock, Arkansas this coming weekend. Second hour, first-time guests and not last-time guests, I can tell you that. Hank Kornbluth from Mr. Brisket, M-I-S-T-E-R, brisket.com. And we close it out with Annella Kelso from SnakeRiverFarms.com. Don't forget, they got a new dry-aged section. Yeah, baby. SnakeRiverFarms.com. Huge show lined up next week. You can't even believe it. Meathead will be in. Special guests will be in. It's going to be great. I promise you that. You want to tune in. Tell all your friends. Follow me socially at BBQ Central Show, Instagram and Twitter. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.